search through. It's all just reference so we can find it quicker.
Yeah, I saw your report on it.
I don't
really
know. Sorry, go on.
want to I really want to go through all the legislation and like categorize everything to make it more organized because oh my god, it's such a headache trying to look through anything and find anything.
But it looks like the trial's still going ahead for, the people versus Emma Corrosion and everybody. So they've just added a bunch of witnesses for depositions. So I don't know whether that's, I don't know, but something's happening. Other than that, I don't really know what else has happened. Yeah, I'm not 100%.
I'm sure you can understand if I say I'm a little burned out on docket stuff right now.
No, 100%. Yeah, you pumped a bunch of shit out. So
my my latest one completely scrapped an entire investigation because a judge decided to declare that my signed search warrant didn't have probable cause and eliminated an entire like 10 investigations over it.
I did see that. That was the justice, right? The justice said no, basically.
Yeah. Justice said, I know your search warrant was signed, and I don't even understand why he doesn't think there was probable cause. I feel like there's a huge disconnect between what the justice system believes is probable cause and like what we believe is probable cause. And it almost feels like the expectation is that the probable cause expectation is beyond a reasonable doubt, and beyond a reasonable doubt expectation is beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it's almost an impossible level of proof to meet 90% of the time.
Yeah. No.
So I'll probably hyper focus on data analysis for a while.
I had someone call me that. I think it was Masters, and he was like, "Can the DOJ or can justices, kind of overrule that stuff?" You know what I mean? And like, I guess
they can. I mean, it shouldn't be, but I guess they can.
I was saying that, like, per legislation, they haven't been given the authority to do so. Like, it's not listed out in the judicial powers, right? They haven't been given that power to, like, I guess, supersede like warrants that have already been signed or anything like that. But then I was thinking about like cases in other states and things like that where it's gone to like the Supreme Court and things like that, and then it has that, like, the probable cause has been questioned, and like, that kind of thing has happened where the probable cause has been like claimed as said to have not been enough, and then it's been like fruit of the poisonous tree and things like that.
Well,
I know that's happened.
The thing is, like, it does happen, but it usually occurs way earlier in an investigation. You will generally have, or not an investigation, in a in court processes.
Right. Yeah.
There is a hearing of probable cause, but of course we don't have those kinds of things in the state because things are escalated or moving at a very much faster rate of time. And I don't know.
No, so basically, was it like after the trial or before the trial that he did this?
During the trial. That was his, whenever he made his ruling on it, that was his ruling at the actual trial, because it was literally a possession charge trial. It was quite literally a possession charge trial of he had possession. It was the owner of a house that was raided, and it was the possessions, the illegal possession of all the illegal shit in the house. That's literally all it was.
Okay.
And they found
thank you for the raid, buddy.
Ruled that the search warrant didn't have sufficient
go get some wine, dude.
In his opinion, even though a different judge had found it had probable cause. A different member of command had found it had probable cause. I had written it believing it had probable cause. So they basically
Oh, hey,
just ruled
Chris.
that it doesn't matter that other judges have found probable cause. There's no, it should have been an appeal. It should
Yeah,
have been
I
an
agree.
appeal
Yeah.
that got heard. And here's the horrible part, Dark. It was appealed. The probable cause of that search warrant was appealed, and that same justice, we had an in-person hearing about it, and that exact same justice said, yeah, there's probable cause to continue this.
What?
Yes. Yeah, if you
What?
look in that if you go through the docket, you'll see where we negotiated to have basically pretrial hearings, and that was brought up. We want to have a hearing on the motions, and that was brought up was probable cause of that search warrant. We had that hearing in person
So why
in the
did he go back
courthouse
on
with
it in the
I
case?
you got me. You absolutely got me, Dark.
But
And
that's
I'll tell you that is
ridiculous.
one of the most it is ridiculous. It is one of the most mind-blowing decisions I've had to deal with, and it's like, what is the point of having these types of investigations if you can get this far into investigation to have something that you have had ruled on over and over and over again that you are justified in, and then suddenly at the very finish line they rip it out from under you to determine the whole thing is fruit of the poisonous tree over it.
You should be dangerous about that. Like, you should actually be dangerous.
Well,
This was Halo, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
just as hollow.
I did hear a thing about Halo with this whole search warrant on the Hydra thing. I heard about him being present and assisting PD in writing the search warrant that he signed as well, which I thought was pretty kind of dodgy.
I hadn't heard anything about that.
Yeah, I heard that just the other day, and I don't know whether it's because I haven't really been investigating the whole warrant thing. I know that's kind of Anna's case at the minute, but I might, now that Jackie's been caught, start digging into the validity of the warrant and everything. But yeah, I heard that apparently the judge was, I guess, present with the PD during the writing of the warrant or something. And then he was also the one who signed off on the warrant. So I don't know whether, yeah. I don't know. I definitely bring it up because if decisions like that are being, if you're basically being led to believe, like if you're being told one thing by the same judge, and then at the end of the day, like during the trial, he's saying, actually, nope, I'm going back on my word and throwing it all out and changing my mind. That's ridiculous. That's just a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah. Now, if you think I'm crazy, look at the docket. You can actually see on page 1, motion to dismiss with president's lack of probable cause by the lawyer, fruit of the poisonous tree. And he argues that the search warrant doesn't have
What's the
PC.
case?
It's People versus Marco Frey. It's enclosed.
I got it.
The third entry on that docket is from the defense attorney, who makes a motion to dismiss based on the search warrant, saying that it's fruit of the poisonous tree, blah, blah. He makes these exact same arguments. And there's some back and forth, blah, 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 blah. You can see just as Hallow enters in towards the end of that.
Eric, thank you for giving this up to Chris. I appreciate it, buddy.
Page, we had already negotiated to have an in-person hearing. The very first entry on the second page is just as Hallow.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing done, motion dismissed is denied. Court is set.
Motion to dismiss is denied. And the motion to dismiss was for lack of probable cause.
Yeah, he literally argued the exact same things in the hearing. We had a hearing on this.
What the fuck, dude?
And then when it came to it, we got to the court, and he argued literally the exact same things, and we argued against literally the exact same foundations. But yet this time he decided to flip it over, and the whole thing's been reversed, and the whole thing's out now. I don't understand. But then he also says that he has to level reasonable doubt on the search warrant. He's like, no, you don't need to weigh reasonable doubt on a search warrant. A search warrant doesn't require beyond a reasonable doubt. The whole point of a search warrant is to find evidence that you have probable cause of, so that you can get to beyond a reasonable doubt.
I also don't like this, where he says, also due to the warrant being not being lawful and then he put in brackets in my opinion. But his opinion is like the DOJ. He can't just have an opinion that's separate from the DOJ. Like he's a justice. His opinion is the DOJ. So he's just got to make the point that it's not lawful. He can't just be like, "Oh, my opinion is this and my opinion is that." He's got to say it's lawful or not lawful.
And the horrible thing is he found it lawful on the hearing.
Yeah, you gotta talk to Angel about this.
I'm so over it. It's trash. That was the very first actual motion, like the very first step to getting the murders of Marco Frey or the murders of Rocco Prince done, because Rocco Prince died, and this was part of the investigation. But apparently, I because of that, literally all the evidence in the murder investigation has now been through the poisonous tree. All the physical evidence. I'm not going to touch it. If he thinks that
I'm opening
that search warrant doesn't have enough probable cause, then literally everything else regarding that entire investigation is now tainted. I can't.
Oh wait, judges can see these.
Murder investigation. Like I won't see any justice, even though I literally have down the names of everyone that murdered him or that was involved in his murder. We have text messages from the people who murdered him. Literally, like this Marco Frey guy receives Rocco Prince's properties, and then 8 minutes later, Rocco Prince is dead. And Marco's texting these people that are involved in this, and then one of the people that's a prime suspect in his murder, not even 5 minutes after Rocco's death, after Rocco has been killed, is texting Flippy, "You don't have to worry about him anymore."
Holy shit.
They literally confessed, like they practically confessed everything. We had them in interrogation. I had one of the main suspects in interrogation, and I twisted I love interrogations, and I basically got the guy to confess that he knew about Rocco Prince's death before it was public knowledge. Because I made the call on the day of Rocco Prince's death not to contact any of his emergency contacts, because it was not known. The only people that should have known about his death were police officers who responded, the doctor who declared him deceased, and the person who called 911 anonymously. And I got one of the prime suspects to confess that he knew Rocco Prince was dead and exactly how he died before it was public knowledge. So I had it all down pat, but because of all this, it's just gone.
Yeah, that's I think I'm opening up I'll be honest, I'm just gonna open up I don't know whether to call it an investigation or not, but I'm just gonna document what you've told me about this, and then obviously hearing some concerns about what happened in that other thing with the warrant and the Hydro raid. There might be a case for an ACR here, the conduct review. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna make note of this, and I'm gonna have to do it in a private report because apparently judges can see our state marshal reports. By the way,
you need to start doing some of the things I do.
Which is what?
So when I first got hired on, I created a bunch of reports and just keep them blank. I filled them with a bunch of gibberish just so nobody really thought about them. But I have those reports that are much older with older report numbers so that I can go back and use them in case I need to investigate cops. Because, if I have to write a subpoena or a search warrant on a police officer, they can see it. But most cops don't think to scroll down past the first couple of pages. So I go back and I use these really old report numbers so that they don't show up at the top of the list.
Smart, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't think they'd scroll that far back.
Yep. So I mean, I just have a bunch of private reports so that they have low report numbers, and if I need one to filter out, I just transition it to a subpoena or whatever so that it goes way down in the list.
Genius. I like that. I might have to start making some private reports. Okay. And what was it? The other thing I said?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like anyone's going to know anything if you make a bunch of private reports because it saves the report number for you. And that's honestly a way to tell if people have generated private reports, because I think that's
No,
the
PD
only
can't
report
see
we
it.
can't see is private reports, right?
Yeah, we can't see
And
private.
so if
Yeah.
yeah, so if you look through the reports list and you see like 187, 186, 185, 184, if you see it skip one like 182, then it goes 179. So we know 180 and 181 are probably private reports. So there's two private reports created somewhere, or something else happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's the search from, Jackie? This is Nicola Place.
So what are y'all going for on Snow time wise?
I don't know. I've left the PD. I was just there to. I'll be honest. I wasn't even there to. I was just assisting with the capture and obviously his arrest. And then I was kind of expecting them to do everything, and then I got there for the interrogation yesterday, and then was like, "Hey, can you like lead the interrogation?" And I was like, okay." But I'm like, I don't know everything about the raid and everything, but I'm kind of glad that I was there, because if I wasn't, and it's the same like when we caught him, I think that there's a lot of PD that don't have a lot of experience when it comes to interrogations and things, because Den had like three
Yeah.
questions and they were very direct, and then he didn't get any answers, so he's like, okay, I don't have any more. And that was it.
Yeah, the art of interrogation is lost on a lot of the police department.
I mean, even the lawyer, like even his lawyer, Robin, was like I was like, you know, he was like, are you trying to, I was just talking to Snow, you know, interrogations. Like I was talking to Snow, and then I throw some questions in there. And Robin was like, I can't remember what he said, but he was basically trying to say, is this relevant to this case? And I was like, Robin, this isn't a court case. We don't, like, I'm not, this is, I don't have to make everything relevant. I'm talking to your client, and it's an interview, but I'm having a chat. I'm talking, and I don't have to make everything relevant. And he kind of shut up at that point. But yeah, I'm glad I was there, because
Yeah.
if I wasn't, then I don't know. But Snow did confirm in the first interrogation when we caught him, where he kind of waived his right. Well, he did waive his right to a lawyer for some questions. At one point, he did say, "Do you think that's all we had?" So he confirmed that he was, you know, involved with Hydra, and stuff like that. But since then,
Yeah.
he's been sticking to the story that he's just been prepping, that he's just a prepper, and all kind of that stuff. So he's made some conflicting statements, which is, I think, kind of helpful for the PD. But we'll see what they do with it. But they're trying to push the same charges on Snow as they're doing on the others, on Emeka Rose and everybody. But for the Hydra members that were in his house, they're basically trying to push constructive possession on everything, including like weapons manufacturing, drug manufacturing, or weapons traffic. I think I'm not 100% on the actual charge they're trying to push, but and the hot gun charges. They're all getting the same hot gun charges.
Well, if they ask you for an opinion on how much time he should get, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
34 years.
What's that in reference to?
That's how much time he put me in Bolingbrook for pretty much the same thing.
Oh, was Jack the one that locked you up? Oh.
He was involved in it. He was one of the investigators.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
That's why I don't want to be a part of this, because if I get into it, I'm going to get really emotional and I'm going to make mistakes, because I'm going to do everything I can to lock him up, and I don't want to touch it because of that. I'll help from the sidelines and help in little side quests on it, but I will not be a part of the core investigation.
That's fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I think they posted the charges yesterday. Oh. They're just looking, by the looks of it, they're only looking for 6 years.
That's fucking disgusting.
6 years and $6 million.
Fucking cowards.
Guess we'll see. I can't even find his search warrant. The actual property.
Snows. His search warrant?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but
It's probably in the master
that's a good point.
because it's named something really fucking weird. When you're talking about the search warrant of the house,
Of the house, yeah.
yeah, it's got some really weird name. Let me find the original master. My God, there's so many reports.
Yeah.
The
see
raid
raid
receipt
receipts?
is 13975.
Oh, I found it.
Is it not linked in the raid receipt?
It's called Mirror Park Raid. That's literally it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So stupid. I actually haven't read this. Actually, no, I have.
There's also 10180. That's not the search warrant. That's just the breakdown of everything.
Oh, yeah. See that one. There's a problem.
What's wrong?
Go to report 13967.
Okay. What am I looking at?
The signatures.
What's wrong?
Why did the judge sign it like 5 days after the place was raided?
That sometimes happens. I'll tell you from personal experience, if people have the report open who aren't the judge and a judge signs it and then somebody goes back and like hits the save button without closing it after the judge has signed it, it can clear the judge's signature. It's really obnoxious. I will tell you that's possible. I've had it happen myself. And it's really obnoxious to deal with.
Oh no. I think there was some issue. I remember reading there was some issues where with the MDT where they had to sign it out of the MDT, and there is in the main body. He did sign it on the 19th. Okay, that's fine. It's just an MDT thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's usually just MDT stuff. I've had to deal with so much MDC bullshit.
Holy
in the
shit!
last couple of months.
I did not see this. Holy fuck!
I know I've had signatures cleared by because I habitually constantly hit the save button, and I've accidentally cleared signatures doing that before.
Okay. Okay. I wonder. Oh my god, if I was working this case, I would fucking tear these people apart. Because Snow has fucking called them decorators. Unless this was a hidden room, how long were they decorating for? Did they go into the house and see a bunch of fucking illegal guns on the walls and shit like that? Did they call the police? Why not? Did they continue decorating the house with all the guns on the wall? Why did they shoot at police when officers went inside? There's so many fucking questions that if they just fucking got the answers to, but I bet they haven't done fucking any interviews. Is there even a report on the Snow interview from yesterday? Oh, I've got to go. It's any time. What the fuck is this? Oh, Craig, maybe a case?
Oh God. Yeah.
This is some fucking. This is the kind of this. I don't know. Maybe this might be your kind of thing. 15175. I just Mission Road PD security system triggered it. That shit. I fucking love people using books, dude. I fucking love people using books. No, not for you.
Nah, not for me.
Fair enough. That's for me though. Fuck, I want to come back to this. I'm a bookmark it.
Maybe at one point that would have been me. I'm a broken man, Dark. Broken.
They didn't. I can't see any fucking report on the invest. God damn it. Correct. Did Carmine see my report
It's time for me to take a bunch of guns out of evidence lockers and find a new friend to make.
Stop it.
Gross. None of these people are worth saving these days. There's not a single person on this whole fucking island worth another 34 years.
You'll. Okay, I'm not talking about doing crime or corruption, Craig, but you'll find somebody, okay?
Doubt it. You're married, so it's different. You got somebody to be able to lay like.
Yeah, but I didn't have somebody yet.
Well, would you really serve 34 years in Bolingbroke for him by stealing a bunch of going against your oath and stealing a bunch of weapons to give to him if it meant saving his life? I thought it was worth it for me at one point. I learned that lesson.
I'll be honest, I really would. It would be the most difficult thing I'd ever do. But I would do anything for that man. I really would. It wouldn't be. It would literally be the hardest decision I ever made. But if it was the only thing that could save his life, I'd do anything.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not worth it. I thought it was the only thing. I mean, it was the only thing. It was my literal only option. I tried every other option, and I saved the town. I saved the people. I saved everyone there. It ended up, in the long run, ended up completely eliminating all criminal activity in Bolito. It wasn't worth it. Don't do it, Dark. If it ever comes up, you ever have that opportunity, It's not worth it. Don't do it. Because you'll lose yourself, and if you lose yourself, you'll lose your partner. Because if you lose yourself, your partner's lost you, and nothing will make sense anymore.
I'll keep that in mind, Craig. And let's just pray it never comes to it. You know, Jackie was he brought up saying going kind of said the same thing. Going to fight that war to stop people, criminals importing explosives, cannibals, weapons, all that kind of stuff. And he did so to, you know, save everybody's lives, right? And what they do, nothing but make things worse.
And here we are. Things are not much better. In fact, I would argue that things are worse than they were.
100% they're worse. We should never have been there in the first place. We were only there because of the acts of a few bad men.
No, we shouldn't. If it were me, we shouldn't have ever authorized that island to be established to begin with. It was a recipe for disaster from the get-go.
Completely agree. I completely agree. But we've got our officers here to make sure that things like that don't happen anymore.
No, we don't. Look around, Dark. We don't even have that anymore. We're barely functioning as it is. We've been operating in the state marshal's office for how long now? What, 4 months? 3 or 4 months? We've made so many arrests and investigations on all kinds of people in different levels of government. And look where it's gotten us. Arguably, we're in a worse position than we were 2 months ago. The police department is no better off. They're not doing any better. You look through these incident reports right now, and they're a fucking mess. Hardly anyone's still doing shit. There's things in here where I'm looking at one that was done just hours ago where somebody started writing a warrant. They have literal pictures of the people committing the crime unmasked with guns holding out, and the warrant's not fully written out. They just kind of gave up on it half-ass way. They literally have every piece of evidence they need. Hell, I could write a warrant based on the evidence they have right here, but nobody's finishing these things. You've got investigations incomplete. You've got search warrants being thrown out in court. The docket looks like a fucking disaster. You get the most mind-boggling decisions being made all the time. And whenever we finally take the time to do these investigations and do them, like completely roll them out halfway, like all the way, they get shut down over the most like mind-numbing decisions that you can possibly believe. There's literally no take on this. You've got gangs who just go out and shoot everybody. Nobody's being held accountable for nothing. There's been no progress to show that we're any better off than we were 4 months ago. We just have a new tool, but this tool is just as useful as a dull knife. Sorry.
It's all right.
The recent elections have me a bit stirred up, and I even voted for one of the dumbasses.
It's one of these things that, as much as it looks bad now, even though we're here, just imagine what it could look like if we weren't here. And we weren't at least trying to hold people accountable and arresting and trying to keep things in order. Things will be even worse. So no matter, even if we're doing a little or a lot, at least we are doing something. And that lets me sleep at night. And even if it takes us a couple more months to get things back to where they're supposed to be, then so be it. I'm in it for the long run. We've got Pred's case is up on the docket. If he gets charged, there's an impeachment waiting for that guy.
Damage is done.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. It's gonna take a long time for things to get fixed. But we gotta have some hope, you know? It's not even about hope, it's about, I don't know, willingness for change, I guess. But I don't blame you for feeling like you feel. I'm sure there's a lot of people in PD that feel the same way.
That's the horrible part, Dark. Is that there are people in PD who feel the same way. And you know, that's what tears at me, is that limited scope. There are people in PD who feel that way. I literally can't make that same statement with any other classification of individual in that sentence replacing PD. And we're the minority.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong.
If we're supposed to be a democracy and the majority of people in this state favor the situation we're in, where violent crime runs rampant, we can't get any control of anything, citizens are left, regular everyday civilians are robbed and beaten and abused and unable to get anywhere in life. They can't own properties hardly. They can't own businesses without turning to corruption in their own. What the fuck are we doing here? It's one thing when you're in a democracy where the majority of people want safety and security for themselves and they're in support of what their government does as far as keeping the peace. When the majority of your citizenship favors anarchy and removal of law enforcement and complete disruption of our services, if it's real democracy, we're out of a job. They're just going to let it'd be better to let the people roam around themselves with guns, running around in pickup trucks, blasting whoever they want as a form of social justice out there. If it's democracy we have, we're inhibiting democracy by continuing to do our job in the way that we're going against what the majority of the citizens want. It makes you start to question what even is our democracy. Democracy in this state is hate, is violence. It's getting one up on each other and not helping each other out. That's what we voted for. That's what everybody voted for. This is what they wanted. You go out there and ask pretty much anyone who voted for either one of these mayors, what did you expect was going to happen when you voted them in? They probably would say exactly this. This is what they expected. This is what they anticipated. So who are we to go out and say the majority is wrong?
Because
what are we doing
at the end
here?
of the day, Craig, is for those criminals, those felons, those people, they might be part of the citizens of San Andreas, but they're not the only people. There are still innocent people out there that deserve defending, that still have a voice in this whole thing. And we still have a constitution to defend, and a lot of these people, as much as they want to vote for these mayors that want to keep crime running rampant and that kind of thing, that doesn't stop us from defending these agencies and positions from being abused. Right? That's regardless of democracy, no matter what people vote for. Those positions still got to be held to a level of trust. And there needs to be oversight for the little man, for the innocent people out there. Because if there is no oversight, then it's the little people, the innocent people that get fucked over. It's, listen, I get it, man. It's not an easy ride, and I get it. Listen, you just take it easy, all right, Corey? You can maybe, take some time off if you want, Just chill out for a bit.
Yeah, I have been. I can't just keep sitting in my apartment doing nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I gotta get out of here, but just try not to think about all the bad too much. There's still good in Los Angeles, even if you don't see it every day. And you're one of the good ones, Craig. Okay, D&D time. Gotta go, guys. I'm gonna write Ziggy. Bye. See you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye-bye.